Hello and welcome to National Focus for Tuesday, May 21, 2024. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, new agriculture science complex to help make agriculture sector resilient. Government continues to build climate resilience in the Kalinago territory. And communities urged to prepare to benefit from international airport. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says the new Dominica China Agriculture Science Complex building will help Dominica build a resilient agricultural sector. He says the complex will increase Dominica's capacity and competitiveness in local and regional markets.
By enabling the production of high-quality, disease-resistant seedlings, we will boost the capacity of local farmers to meet demand, improve quality, and increase the competitiveness in the local and regional markets. This will ensure that the backbone of our nation's economy, our agricultural sector, is thriving. The Agricultural Science Complex will also support our goal to ensure that the local food supply chain remains stable and reliable, even with the threat of adverse weather events.
He says the effects of natural disasters in recent years have reminded Dominica about the need for constant innovation in agriculture.
Our farmers must keep adapting to extreme climate and weather patterns while finding new ways to increase their yields from the land. This facility is therefore essential in enhancing our climate resilience in the aftermath of heavy rains and floods. I expect that the establishment of a national seed bank will serve as a strategic national resource in post-disaster recovery, as well as with our efforts to diversify our agricultural production and enhance biodiversity.
The new complex is expected to not only build capacity in the sector, but also attract a new generation of agriculturists.
We are looking at expansion of crop production with the provision of clean planting material and the improved health of our crops island-wide with the elimination of plant viruses. I am especially pleased that now young people with an interest in agriculture and students at all levels of our education system can access enhanced education and training, fostering the next generation of agricultural professionals in our nation. The cutting-edge tissue propagation technology available here means that our agricultural sector is poised to become a leader in science-based production methods in the region.
Prime Minister Skerrit added that this complex will help Dominica surpass the food security objectives set for the next few years.
If we embrace the opportunities available here, we can reignite the passion and commitment of our farmers and meet our objectives for food and nutrition security over the next 5 years and beyond. I believe we need to immediately place focus on the mass production of key cash crops which can generate income for our farmers. I am talking about bananas, plantains, pineapples, and root crops such as dasheen, tanya, yams, and sweet potatoes, which are always in high demand in the neighboring islands.
The government of Dominica continues to build climate resilience in the Kalinago territory through the construction of resilient housing under the Build Back Better principle supported by the EU budget. Parliamentary representative for the Salibia constituency, Honorable Kozio Frederick, relayed the progress of completed and ongoing works in the area.
We are continuing homes in the Kalinago space. We handed over 36 homes in the last few months, homes that were sponsored by the European government. We are building an additional 8 as we speak. I had the opportunity to visit one of those homes yesterday, a constituency day. There's very good work going on. We have a local Dominican contractor. And then I realized that 80% of his workforce is from the Kalinago territory, and very young men who are very skilled in carpentry and masonry work. So the work is going on speedily. We're hoping that by the end of July, most of these homes will be completed. July, August, and we can move on.
50 homes in total will be constructed under the 11th European Development Fund EDF B envelope state and resilience contract for rehabilitation following Hurricane Maria. Additional funding from the government of Dominica to reduce risk vulnerability and increase climate resilience in the Kalinago territory. The Kalinago territory is also poised to receive new housing units from the Housing Recovery Project, HRP, in the coming months. In addition to climate resilient housing, the indigenous people are taking their own measures to prepare for the upcoming hurricane season.
We have had the capacity being built on the ground, which was related to the emergency shelter. So we do have a coordinator of emergency response established. So we have someone in charge. The local council is part of that structure. All of the Hamlet committees, people have been trained, and so they're ready. The bigger piece for us is to ensure that basic stuff are done at the home level, and so we are engaging the NEP with the National Employment Program within this space to clear drains, to cut overhang close to homes of the elderly, etc., to make sure that there's easy access to buildings, and so we're getting ready. It will also be a national movement where the NEP is involved, and we're calling on everyone to just play their part to ensure that we have a safer community.
Village councils have been told they need to be meticulous in the administration of government social programs that are now placed in their care. These government safety net programs include the non-contributory pension and public assistance. Local Government Month in Dominica is into its 35th year.
Of course, this Labour Party government will continue to work with you in the delivery of our many social programs. But as you do so, I appeal to you to be thorough in your execution of these duties. Be transparent and accountable for the funds that you will be receiving. At all times, practice the principles of good governance and please ensure that the audit department can have no reason for giving you an unsatisfactory report. I'm saying this because I have received many.
The minister says in 2024, councils must know how to build on the asset base of their community.
Community tourism and beautification, horticulture, health and sanitation, and agriculture must also feature high on your agenda.
Addressing the 19th inaugural meeting of the Girardel-Egliston Village Council recently, the minister urged the council to lead the way to a healthier community.
Who is best able to promote and excel at backyard gardening than the people of Girardel and Egliston? A perfect place to highlight a Grow What We Eat and Eat What We Grow campaign. Mr. Chairman, encourage healthy eating as we as a nation continue our fight against non-communicable diseases, a serious threat to our nation's health.
She also appealed to the council to take a closer look at its bylaws,
to ensure that they are more responsive and a bit more relevant to the challenges and needs of your community. I am saying all this because I am receiving reports from many councils about some of the outdated bylaws that they have in place. So as a new council, then I would advise that you review them and see how you can make changes so that they fit your community.
Councillors were told their success largely depended on how well they worked and interacted with other community partners.
If you fail to engage them and are not vibrant and active, they will not be motivated to work with you. So go out, put your shoulders to the wheel, exude enthusiasm, and be the leaders that they know and expect you to be. In closing, I wish you well, and as usual, I lend my full support to your council. Rest assured, the staff of the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, and of course the Division of Local Government, stand ready to provide you with the necessary training, assistance, and ongoing guidance throughout your term.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return.
Ride safe, wear a helmet, safer roads in the nature aisle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit is urging communities such as Shirudel Egliston to raise the standard of their annual flower show. The Prime Minister says when the international airport is completed, these communities should be poised to take advantage of the opportunities.
I think that we have to take the flower show and the agro-tourism product to a higher level, because we have to start preparing ourselves for the increased number of visitors who will be coming to our country with the construction of the international airport, for example. Yes, the international airport might be in Wesley, but the reality is people are going to come to your places. The whole issue of Airbnb and turning your homes into residences and accommodation for tourists.
He says increasingly tourists want to experience life in Dominica from the perspective of the local residents.
There are a growing number of tourists who would like to stay at somebody's home and be part of their family for a week. And you charge them $50 US per night in a room. They have breakfast if you, and they have lunch, and they go to the farms if you. Because the reality is, for us to create economic activity, we have to bring people in. People bring money in and they mix with what we have, and that's what you allow for growth to take place. That's what's going to allow us to have more money in our pockets.
He says it's unwise to wait for the completion of the international airport to start preparing.
We have to position ourselves. We cannot wait for the airport to be completed and then we're trying to scramble as local Dominicans, because the reality is there are an increasing number of non-Dominicans who are coming to Dominica and investing, buying properties, building homes, because they understand that this is the place to be. And so the more people who will come with the cable car that have been constructed, will be the longest cable car in the world, we expect more people to come to enjoy the rides on this cable car.
The Prime Minister says the focus ought to be to monetize our natural beauty, rich soil and hospitable people.
I believe that we need to build the culture of having more of our properties available for tourists to slip. And so they slip by me, they have breakfast by you, they have lunch by somebody else, and everybody makes money. Those with vegetables will sell the vegetables to have breakfast, those with eggs will sell the eggs, and we keep the money, all the money that's coming in, we keep it in the credit union in Jurodel and Egliston. And so that we can go there to borrow money to build our homes, to invest in other things.
He says we must sustain and grow our economic opportunities to create better livelihoods for future generations. The village of Saint-Sauveur celebrated its village feast, the Feast of St. Isidor, over the weekend with a fusion of culture, cuisine, and praise. The celebrations began with a church service and culminated with a street parade with participants showcasing Dominica's culture throughout. Resident of Saint-Sauveur, Miss Princess Anne Laville, gave a brief history of the Feast of St. Isidore.
Isidor the farmer was born in Madrid, Spain, to a poor devoted parents in the year 1070. He spent his life as a hired hand in the service of a wealthy landowner on a farm outside the city. Isidor shared everything he had, even his meals, with the poor. The landowner he worked for would later make him the supervisor of his entire estate. Many marvelous happenings accompanied the life of Isidor as he worked in the fields. He was favored with celestial vision, and it is said the angels sometimes help him in his work in the fields.
She says the feast is held to thank God for the farmer's yields.
Isidor died in the year 1130 and was canonized as a saint in 1622. He is the patron saint of farmers, and his feast day is Pentecost Monday, the day on which we celebrate Fête Isidore. We recognize the presence of our brothers and sisters, friends all over Dominica, and it is such a joy that you choose to celebrate this day with us. Let us remind ourselves this celebration today is a Eucharistic celebration where we give thanks to God for all the yields of our farms. We say thank you to God for having food on our tables.
Ms. Laville added that this feast is held to remember and continue the legacy of St. Isidore.
It also means continuing the legacy of St. Isidore the farmer. We have worked to produce yams, plantain, bananas, tanias, dashing, coconut, cocoa, passion fruit, apricots, and so many others. We would be highly ungrateful if we were not here today to give thanks to God for what He has done for us. If you are in this church right now and you are not a farmer, feel no way. You benefit from the work of Mr. Farmer, and therefore you need to give thanks as well.
Here are some highlights from the day's festivities. Coming up next, the Creole News Highlights with Jeno Jacob.
Bienvenue à ce nouvel en créole, nom monsieur Jeno Jacob. Premier ministre Dominica Honorable Roger Skerrit crié à ce village Girodel et puis Eggleston pour lever haute flèche une démonstration flèche yo kan tout l'année. Il dit après basse avion international a fini et qu'il y a une opportunité pour voir flèche aller l'autre pays, flèche qui fouille. Il dit touristes veulent expérimenter la vie moun Dominique. Il dit nous pour préparer et pas espérer basse avion fini pour opportunité. Il dit l'idée ça c'est une belle idée, une idée pour vendre belleté Dominique, Turkey riche et puis bonté Dominique pour mener l'argent rentrer en pays. Le gouvernement Dominique a continué à bâtir caille qui résilient en pays Kalinago. Fois c'est build back better, virer bâti plus meilleur. Il a déjà bâti 50 cailles hors de l'argent European Union après cyclone Maria. Le gouvernement Dominique aussi mettait l'argent pour bâtir caille qui résilience. Housing Recovery Project qui aussi bâti d'autres cailles. Par le rep pays Kalinago, Honorable Kozia Frederick parlait contre le développement caille.
Nous avons un local en Kalinago territory. Yo tout ces qu'on nous a yo c'est caille qui résilient, mais nous savons il y a moun qui nous pas faire caille et nous pas ranger ces caille là. Et si un cyclone fait, il n'y pas aller dans un shelter. So nous avons fait ça. Et ces caille là nous avons fait nous grant là et loan là hod World Bank. Nous fait c'est HRP Homes. Mon ka courir ça World Bank Homes mais c'est caille gouvernement. C'est caille moun Dominique. Et nous avons fait nous qui European Union a sponsor nous j'ai fait un local et quand on a parlé nous a fait Utah présent. C'est caille là c'est yo bill qu'on nous a dit climate resilient.
Premier ministre Dominique Honorable Roger Skerrit dit Dominica China Agricultural Complex 9 là qui wende Dominique vend mais produits à sur la place locale et puis internationale. Complexe là situé en 1 mile en Guantans. Complexe là c'est un caille scientifique pour préparer et puis produire plants pour planter. Honorable Skerrit dit Dominique a bâti une section, un secteur agriculture qui est résilience. Il dit désastre comme cyclone Maria montre nous une leçon important pour nous faire innovation en agriculture. Complexe là qui rend Dominique ni sécurité manger pour autant d'années pour venir. Ça c'est tout à ce nouvel en créole. Non, monsieur Jeno Jacob, au revoir.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching.